Welcome to this edition of ONME Sunday Mornings. My name is Julia Dudley Najib, along with
Lennis Najib.
And we wanted to wrap up some things that have been, some events that have been taking place in the community. So we call this one of our wrap-up episodes. And one of those wrap-ups were, like, for instance, Master Chief Othan, Nate, Mondy, and we wanted to show the rest of that Part 2 interview. We also had author and singer, renowned singer, Jackie O Kelley, that came to the Valley and was at the African American Museum. People get to watch excerpts of that. Mm-hmm. We also had an update on Daren Miller's case and what's been trending, his case against Madera Unified School District. It's been ongoing. And people thought those tax dollars were coming out of, or they thought that the cost of the case was coming out of our tax dollars, but apparently he made that clear that it was not.
Yes, he went into great details of what is happening with his case, especially what intrigued me was a vacation that another juror took, and he was not able to take a leave for his graduate studies. So I thought that was very interesting in him explaining the details of that.
So you'll get to see that detailed interview. Also, we have Gwen Morris, who is running for California Assembly District 23. So we get to see her point of view and of why she's running, because some people say, why would you be running? It's been a dominant of one person in that seat for a long time that has never been opposed. And this will be one race, I guess, that it's going to be some opposition is what we're saying.
Well, one thing is, it's going to be interesting, to say the least. African-American female running for that particular seat. A lot of people say, well, she may not have no chance. How can she compete? Well, she's there, she's strong, and she's vibrant, and we're excited for her.
Also, we want to remind you about the ONME Shopper that has come out this past week, and this would be great for your Cyber Monday or just for your holidays to take a look at. We've got some local vendors in there. We have Paula Massey and Amina Wilson, who's a caterer and who has their famous pies and cookies that you can actually order from Cafe Aroma. In fact, you can get those now, not necessarily wait to look in the shopper. And other vendors that we'll be adding along. We also have African American vendors from nationwide that we have in that ONME Shopper that you would want to take a look at if you're looking at more diverse gifts, cultural gifts, and also supporting black businesses at the same time.
One thing when you support black business, especially local business in period, it helps the community. It drives the revenue here locally where the dollar is to help the area around.
And I think that we won't do a lot more talking in this episode, except for also letting you know those Awareness Month is very important. We really didn't get to go in depth about the preterm birth rates where, you know, some of the doctors that were talking about they were just so shocked and appalled at the numbers within the African American community being so high for those preterm death rates or birth rates before the 37 weeks. We just want you to know that there is an Awareness Month, and what we'll have to do is, again, do another wrap-up episode to talk about some preventive measures that one can do as far as the mother who is pregnant and carrying the baby and hopes to carry it all the way to term, that they do have some nutrition things to look out for. And so we wanted to be able to educate them on that. So even though it might be past November, we're going to make sure in the following episode we talk about that because it was still important. Same thing with the Diabetes Awareness Month. We just wanted you to be aware that 30 million Americans are inflicted with this disease, and also the Alzheimer's is another disease where African Americans are 2 times more affected by that particular disease, and so we want to make you aware of that. And
what about the pancreatic cancer?
And oh my goodness, how could I forget? And also pancreatic cancer is another disease that again is a slightly higher number rate when we look into the African American community. Right now, we want to show an excerpt of Jackie O Kelley, who came to visit Fresno, now lives in North Carolina, nationwide known, but straight here from our valley. So let's take a look at her book debut, which these books are available at the African American Historical Culture Museum of the San Joaquin Valley, located on 1857 Fulton Street in Fresno, California. So let's take a look at some of the excerpts that she reads from her book.
3 Paths, 1 Soul. I'm an artist. I'm an author now. and I'm a singer, songwriter, musician, and there's a lot of titles under that one. So when I hold events, I bring the whole thing out. I usually have my paintings up, and and then I have the book and the CD, and I'll sing. And so this book is called Forgiven Songs and Devotions, and it's from, again, like I said, the Forgiven CD. Excuse me. This book comes with a download of that CD. If you don't have the CD, you can get a download from this book. So whatever you pay for this book, you're getting 2 for 1. It is a Christian-based book, but it's for everybody. I believe it's for anybody, wherever you are in your faith. It doesn't matter, because that's what God has called me to do, is to minister to everybody. I don't care who you are, where you come from. I don't care what you've done, and He doesn't either. As long as you receive the message, a good message of survival and walking in the things of God, or just trusting Him and who He is. Because everything I write, there's a story behind it. I've been through some things. I don't know if you guys know that I'm a 23-year-old breast cancer survivor. And so we need to be encouraged to know that we can, even in the midst of your trial, you can make it through. So that's what I want you to know in the message behind this book. 13. So letting go is an everyday thing for me, because every day I find something new that I'm holding on to. This was a comment that someone made to me, and I thought that was so profound. So I wanted to put that in this book. And it says, another insert, it says, God does not intend for us to be held captive because of our past. His desire for us is to prosper in health, even as our soul prospers. 3 John 2. And then he says he also wants us to know that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. I'm talking about the weapons of fear, doubt, failure, depression, hurt, disappointment, unforgiveness, anger, and the list goes on. All you need to do to make this whole thing right. Don't wait, it's never too late. So please don't hesitate. It will make a difference in your life. And I heard someone say, let it go, breathe your life. Holding on will bring death. So if you wanna live, you gotta let it go. The choice is yours. You can praise and be praised, or complain and be. You've got to let it go.
And we got a chance to look at Jackie O Kelley. And after the break, we want to get an update from Daren Miller, what's going on with his case. And following there, we'll also get to see Gwen to win. That's her motto, right? Gwen to win.
Gwen to win. She is winning with her personality. She's winning with her spirit, and she's winning with her enthusiasm. So Gwen to win.
Gwen to win. So you got to take a look at that. And so stay tuned. You are watching ONME Sunday Mornings.
When you have credit card debt, the debt suckers' high rate and high pay are everywhere.
Ooh, they're making another minimum payment. Great. Most of the money goes to us. We'll suck the life out of them.
Because your credit card rates are so high, you can't get rid of the debt suckers alone.
Their minimum payments are in vain. No, that's juicy.
But one call to Consolidated Credit can get the debt suckers off your neck.
Thank you for calling Consolidated Credit.
Oh no, they'll lower his rates and consolidate his bills into one low payment. He'll pay off his debt in no time. Consolidated Credit drives us batty.
Call Consolidated Credit now. Call now and get your life back.
Oh, because debt sucks.
Call now.
Call Consolidated Credit at 1-800-810-0786. That's 1-800-810-0786. Call now.
Hey, Fresno. Fresno, after a great summer of water conservation, our numbers fell the past few months.
And to avoid state fines, we're cutting back to 1 outdoor watering day per week, starting November 1st.
Odd-numbered addresses water on Saturday and even addresses on Sunday.
Or be a zero hero and stop outdoor watering into the springtime.
Many Fresno landscapes survive on just dew and rainfall all winter long.
So remember, one day is okay, but you can be a hero with zero.
A message from the City of Fresno.
And welcome back to ONME Sunday Mornings. My name is Julia Deli Najib, along with
Lennis Najib.
We want to get right into that Daren Miller update. He came on Valley Black Talk Radio over this past week, gave an update about his case with Madera Unified School District. So let's take a look.
So what's happening with your suit and in that district, if you have something you could share with us there?
We're entering into our 9th month in the case.
Wow, good Lord.
We started back in March 16th.
And they said it was only going to be a few days, wasn't it?
It's supposed to have been 6 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah,
and this is month 9.
Yeah. So we're on the targeted date for completion now is January 29th, I believe that is.
Next year?
The end of January 29th, 2016. Yeah, it'll be 10 months is kind of what the judge is targeting now for the conclusion.
What's taking so long? What is this? Can you give me some background as to it? Because I know that a system that has all of the money and everything would assume that this would have been open and shut way sooner than this. So something must have transpired that makes it stretch out to next year.
Well, it's a racial discrimination case, and when you are the plaintiff in a case such as that, you can't leave any stone unturned. So my lawyer, Melina Benninghoff, has taken her time going through the case, making sure that we've got all of the witnesses that are going to tell the truthful story about what transpired in October of 2009, which is when the incident actually occurred. Wow. Yeah, so it's been a long time. But Ms. Benninghoff has done a great job of taking her time, meticulously and methodically going through the process with the witnesses. There's been numerous interruptions. Their side has called witnesses out of order, which adds to the time. My lawyer, who also has a private practice, she's getting called away to different trials and different things that are happening in there. Actually, one of the events that happened was that we took a recess for about 10 days or so that one of the jurors and one of the defendants could go on vacation. And that's curious to me because one of the other things that's going on is that I'm in a doctoral program out of Fresno State, and we have what's called our qualifying exams coming up first part of January. And I asked for some time off from court the first week of January to get prepared for the exam, and it was denied. And so it's just a matter of pressure, turning the screws.
Man, this has got to be. You mean to tell me the juror and whom else?
The defendants.
Requested some time, and the judge granted it.
Yeah, the defendant went to Europe with his family
on a vacation.
For vacation.
Isn't that unusual? That they actually give a juror time when you show up for jury duty. If you're selected, they tell you.
Yeah.
You live with us until the end of this case.
Correct. I agree. I've asked other people if this has ever happened in a situation where jurors or even defendants are allowed to go on personal vacations and holidays, and no. We're down now. I don't know if I shared this with you earlier when we spoke, but we're down now to 8 jurors. We started with 12 actual jurors in the box, 6 alternates, and we've whittled it down to where we've got 8 jurors who are actually still left.
What's the minimum?
0. If it goes to
I'm
0,
saying there's no 6, and then they have to read.
We have to, in order for us to prevail in our case, we have to have 75%. And so now with 8 jurors, we need to have convinced 6 of them that my case has merit. And as the number of jurors decreases, then the burden increases as to how many jurors you need to have convinced. I'm getting docked at work now because I burned up all of my leave time because I'm going to court 3 days a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I go to work in the morning from 8 to 10 at my job. I'm in a demoted position as a middle school counselor. Go to court from 10 until 4 or 4:30. I have class on Monday nights. I'm going to class on Monday nights.
Boy, these guys, the game is a cold game. Man, they know how to work it too. Boy, to their advantage. So I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm just thinking about that, man. How finagling they can be on your time, and they can be so expansive on their time to do whatever they need to do or want to do, not necessarily need what they want to do.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, in the beginning of this case, as you talk to different people, they couldn't understand why the district didn't settle originally up front rather than investing into this situation. But it's going to wind up costing, when it's all said and done, over $1 million because the lawyer's fees, the court fees, whatever damages winds up coming out at the end, when this could have been settled out of court actually 3 years ago.
And that was the update with Daren Miller and his case. And we will continue to stay up and give you that information as it comes through. And, we just hope the best for him.
It takes so much money to be in court, Probably a third of that, they just would have just settled it out, but they want to drag it on this long, so.
And so after the break, we want to get to that Gwen to Win interview. She was also on Valley Block Talk Radio. You're watching ONME Sunday Mornings. We will be right back.
This is important news for women using birth control medications and devices. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with a pseudotumor after using one of these birth control drugs or devices, you may be eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Contact the law firm of Davis & Crump right now if you or a loved one have used one of these birth control medications or devices and were diagnosed with a pseudotumor to see if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Hey Fresno! After a great summer of water conservation, our numbers fell the past few months.
And to avoid state fines, we're cutting back to one outdoor watering day per week, starting November 1st.
Odd-numbered addresses water on Saturday and even addresses on Sunday.
Or be a zero hero and stop outdoor watering into the springtime.
Many Fresno landscapes survive on just dew and rainfall all winter long.
So remember, one day is okay, but you can be a hero with zero.
A message from the City of Fresno.
Welcome back to ONME Sunday Mornings, and we are finishing up this episode with Gwen Morris in her enthusiastic interview that she'd had with Jewel Riversmith and Mel Sanders, talking about what the changes should be for that African American voter that is thinking about choosing a party. You might want to think twice. So let's take a look.
This is a serious position. And it's time for us to show that we're prepared and we're ready and we're going for it. In this valley, it's more critical than anywhere else. Get over it. This is about consciousness that takes you to a new level. This is about inclusion, inclusivity. This is about policies that impact.
Yep.
We can do this from time to time, and let's
Oh,
do
you'll be back.
let's do a benchmark and see how we're doing.
Right.
In terms of people actually having conversations about stepping out of their own private arenas and saying, okay, let me get out here and engage again. Because a lot of the other side of it is we have so many baby boomers, we have so many my age who've retired. And rightly so, they retired and they're enjoying their retirement and they're traveling and they're doing all these wonderful things that they should be doing.
Meanwhile,
the journey's not over, and the story is yet to be finished.
Exactly.
And the work, again, after it's going to be hard, and we'll need as many folks as we can get out there. And we'll need as much diversity. Let us not forget our other communities. The Sikh community, is building all around us in our agricultural valley. There's a lot that's going on.
You got a relationship with them?
Some of them.
Woo, girl.
Some of them.
Oh, yeah,
not as well as I'd like for it to be, and I won't be, but I understand that, they had some events this last weekend, and my opponent again was out there just smiling and grinning. But it's not about speaking in large audiences, it's about the relationship.
That's right. That's what it's about. Relationships.
It's about relationships. Will I see you after the day is over?
Yeah.
And so we've got to have those conversations and assure people that I didn't just start here. So I would just say, folks, it's time for us in this valley. It really is time. We're transitioning along with this whole United States, and we're going to make an impact. We are going to make an impact, and it's going to win 23rd, 2016.
That's what I like. I love to hear it talk like this. Thank you so much for joining us.
And that was the intriguing interview with Gwen Morris, with her Gwen to Win in 2016 campaign. And so we'll be hearing more about that and updates. And at least we see that she has the enthusiasm to make it happen.
She has an agenda. She has a direction. She knows politics. She knows what's needed for the community. And she looked like the right person based on the spirit and based on her enthusiasm for the job.
And after the break, we're going to get right into that Master Chief, Othan Mondy, and that will actually end out the episode. We won't be back, but so you're watching ONME Sunday Mornings. We'll see you in just a moment here.
Fresno, after a great summer of water conservation, our numbers fell the past few months.
And to avoid state fines, we're cutting back to one outdoor watering day per week, starting November 1st.
Odd-numbered addresses water on Saturday and even addresses on Sunday.
Or be a zero hero and stop outdoor watering into the springtime.
Many Fresno landscapes survive on just dew and rainfall all winter long.
So remember, one day is okay, but you can be a hero with zero.
A message from the City of Fresno.
Welcome back to ONME Sunday Mornings. My name is Julia Deli Najib, along with
Lennis Najib.
And this is part 2 of the interview we had. And this was after the Veterans Day Parade that occurred here in the Central Valley. And we had Master Chief Othan Mondy. So let's take a look at part 2, and this will end the episode. Wishing you a wonderful holiday season. We'll be back next week. Enjoy.
The Navy sent me to Stanford to learn consulting and how to be a management consultant. And all of a sudden, I found out when I got to this school, again, I was the only minority in that school. And then I finally finished my tour and spent 5 years there, and I said, well, it's time for me now to go back to the fleet. So after doing that, I then was asked to come to what outfit called Det 1, which is Command of Naval Air Forces Pacific, whereas a team of Det 1 would go to all of these commands and act as management consultants. So after I finished that tour, I decided to try and do what my specialist really was. I said, it's time for me to go back to the fleet and really try and see if I can really do the job. So I went back as a frontline supervisor, okay? And I ran the aircraft intermediate maintenance department of an aircraft carrier, which was a big job. And all the airplanes that came aboard the ship had to be ready for flight, the next day. Now I was fleeted up from a department on an aircraft carrier to, in fact, being the command master chief of the whole entire aircraft carrier. So then now, rather than just have one department on an aircraft carrier, I had all the departments to be concerned with. So after I finished that tour, I took that particular ship around the world, and I had an opportunity then to see just about every country that's in the world, okay? But as I have learned, which I tell guys now that I'm involved with NAVVETS, is that you have to learn to be a part of the system, not operate outside of the system like a stovepipe. And you heard me just a few minutes ago talking about why it's so necessary for us to be able to enter the system and make changes to the system. And unfortunately, what I've discovered, not only here, but throughout my Navy career, is that why minorities are normally not treated, because they are never seen. They're always somewhere in the background. And when it's time to be stepped up and be looked at for whatever changes there are, haircuts, whatever it is you need, nobody's there to make the decision. And I cannot tell you that how many times There are things that we need as veterans that individuals are told they never complain about anything. So how are we to know what needs to be changed? And I have been told that minority veterans are totally considered as social beings or social organizations. They're not a part of the mainstream. And that really irritates me. And I think that we owe it to ourselves to provide for our families and for our country, not only when we're in combat, but when we're not in combat. That we swear and we raise our hand, just like the president, and obligate ourselves to, in fact, never leave nobody behind. But when we come home, we do not get ourselves out into the community and leave these children alone, okay? And they need to be led, they need to receive directions. And I felt a lot of the veterans for just sitting on their behinds and seeing the deterioration of the community at large. That's the way it is throughout the country, is that the black veterans do not come out of the woodwork. You know, it's just that sad.
Oh, it's been a pleasure and an honor to be in your presence, hearing and listening to the wisdom that you have for myself and the audience on ONME Sunday morning. And what advice can you give our young military that's going into the military, African Americans around in the country today?
It's learned that he's now in a system that are depending on him, okay, or her. Kid feels that he or she doesn't belong, doesn't tighten down whatever object that she has to do, or he has to do, because the bell rings. Then God, we lose a lot of individuals because of their neglect. And we cannot have nobody in the organization feeling that they're left out, okay? So I often tell individuals, you know, they were just like me. I was a seaman before, you know. I started there. And you have to start somewhere. And they too can grow up and be a force master chief.